Is a massive economic stimulus package bad for the economy in the long run? I humbly think so. Although it's important for governments to help during really, really tough times, I do believe that too much spending on stimulus packages bankrupts the next generation. And I think that governments are correct to issue stimulus checks. But it's terrifying, the amount of debt that's being created right now, which really destroys innovation in the long run. And I'll explain why in a second. So let's take a look together at the historical debt as a percent of GDP in the United States. Okay, and this is terrifying. So let's go over here to my browser, and we're going to go to a website called Visual Capitalist. They've got a great chart here on the national debt. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at GDP and the debt a country has, the United States, relative to GDP. So let's scroll down here. Okay, so during World War II, the amount of debt that the United States had that year relative to GDP was 104%, which made sense. If you go to 2008, when we were within 24 hours of bank machines not working, this amount was 39.4%. Remember the TARP program. And right now, in 2021, it's around where it was during World War II, and at the pace we're going at now, there's an unfortunate chance that this could spike a lot, which is terrifying. I think we're at a point where starting in 2022, we must reduce the country's debt as a percent of GDP. And what's happening is, and I do believe in stimulus programs, I do, and I pray that everybody's going to make it out of this COVID conundrum. But if we keep spending like this into 2022, then a lot of younger people are going to call the stimulus program the steal from us program. And I do believe in economic stimulus, but I really worry that with the current debt spending trajectory, that this could end up being catastrophic. Too much stimulus can actually hurt innovation too. And Harvard economist Michael Porter wrote a book called Can Japan Compete? And yes, I know they can. And in this book, what Porter talks about is government stimulus programs after World War II in Japan. Now, after World War II, of course, the Japanese economy was disastrous. And so what the government did in Japan after World War II was they created these economic stimulus programs, and they gave money to every single sector in the economy, a lot of money. Now, there's two sectors they didn't give a penny to. And those two sectors are autos and consumer electronics. And those are the two sectors that Japanese companies are dominant in. And so there has to be some sort of survival of the fittest mentality or Darwinian economics in process longer term. And after COVID is no longer a global issue, we have to pressure our governments to be much more fiscally responsible with our debt and understand that too much economic stimulus can actually hurt innovation. And there's an old saying that the first generation makes the money, the second spends it, and the third has nothing. And I care deeply about the next generation. So in 2022, or whenever COVID is behind us, we must put an end to this reckless debt spending and put the next generation first.